Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, our esteemed viewers all over the world. Welcome to another Monday edition of This Morning on ITV TMI, where we get to take a close look at all of the issues that are shaping our nation, our politics, and our daily lives. I'm Chuku from Nanya Digwe here in Benin, and as you know, we do this across 3 studios. I have my colleagues in Lagos and Abuja also standing by to take part in the conversation this morning. Joseph Kadri in Lagos and Mercelina Onko right there, pardon, in Lagos, and Joseph Kadri in Abuja. Good morning to you, Joseph. How's Abuja this morning, and how are you doing?
Good morning. Abuja is fine this morning, except that property owners in Abuja are running from pillar to post to avoid their property being listed for demolition.
Well, that's something that we'll probably want to know more of later in the program. Mercelina, good morning to you. How's Lagos? How was your weekend? And how are you firing up for TMI this morning?
Good morning, Chikumfunaya. Good morning, Joseph Kadri. Lagos is good, apart from the traffic that we'll face. You know, Lagos is beautiful this morning. And trust you're good. Also, my weekend was good, and it's a beautiful Monday morning. And we're grateful to be alive. How are you doing this morning, Chikumfunaya?
I'm amazing, Mercelina. Thank you so much for returning, that pleasantry. I do appreciate it. Now, the topic on the table for many Nigerians, both right here in Edo State and even beyond, even Nigerians globally are talking about this issue because it's something that persists. It's all over social media. It is on the news. Edo State is on the news. The Benin-Abo bypass is on the news. As many motorists, many commuters have been on the road for over 3 days because of the deplorable condition of that road. Very recently, about yesterday, we even got to see a video of a vehicle sinking inside the muddy waters right there at the Benin-Abo bypass. A lot to talk about. A lot of people are weighing into this conversation. Right now, my dear viewer, you can see on your screen people trying to get what they can out of that vehicle that is already submerged in the muddy water right there at the Benin-Abo bypass. It is such a situation, and one that needs to be highlighted by the media and to be attended to by the government. Let's first have you, Joseph, talk about this. On August 20, we got to see people, commuters right there on the Benin-Abo bypass protest the deplorable condition of the road. I've come to you with this. Let's talk.
All right, on pleasant side there, I must say, and you can imagine what the driver of that vehicle or the owner of that vehicle will be going through. It's a traumatic situation. But if you look at what the federal government is doing and look at what the Bureau of Edo State and Delta State should be doing, you just want to score them very, very low, in the sense that there's so much resources in circulation. We are selling oil. Our oil is very sweet. That revenue gate is widely open, and money is still coming. And we have the Nigeria Revenue Service, where taxes are collected. So much is also coming from that revenue gate. And then the other revenue gate, which has to do with custom, is also widely open. And we have so much money to fix this road. The reason we should do that is, one, to save lives, to enhance economic activities, increase productivity, and reduction in loss. But each time this thing is discussed, you wonder why those who are supposed to be active in it are quiet. The Ministry of Road, why is it not finding ways to address this issue? the governors of both Edo and Delta, what is happening? Why are they quiet? We have seen in areas like Nasarawa State, we have seen states like Port Harcourt in the time past, we have seen Lagos, where the governors use their state resources to fix road and then later on ask government for a refund. We've seen that in Ebonyi State. So what is happening in Edo and Delta? And this Agbo road is not the only terrible road we have in that axis. From Okene to Okpela is one death trap. From Okpela to Iyamo is a no-go area. From Auchi to Ekpoma is one terrible road. And then we can go on and on. So I think something needs to be done immediately.
Thank you so much, Joseph, for that disposition. Something definitely has to be done. A lot of people having occasions, having business across state lines can't even go anymore because of the deplorable state of the road. Traffic for hours, traffic for days, terrible gridlock. I mean, potholes, muddy waters. As you've just seen, vehicles even getting submerged by this ordeal. Marcelina, who should be held accountable? Now, they're saying it's a federal road. However, does the state government not have a part in this? Who should the people hold accountable? The protest by commuters and residents on August 20, it just goes to highlight how crazy this situation is and how pressing solutions are required.
So you asked who should be held responsible. I would say the governor of the states, even though it's a federal road. I mean, it's Edo State, Benin City. I was in Benin City during the course of the weekend. I saw a lot of bad roads, you know. Even yesterday when I was trying to come back to Lagos, I kept booking my rides, you know, because of the rain and all of that. It was ride because the road is bad. You accept a ride and the rider tell you, I'm not going towards that direction because it's raining, the road is bad. I mean, I saw different bad roads in Benin City, and the governor, you know, forget the fact that I know it's a federal road, but at the same time the governor has a lot to do. You know, some persons, when I was in Benin, some persons were like, oh, the governor is not saying all this. I mean, they appreciated him for the flyover. He did a great job. He did a good one for the flyover. I mean, there are lots of bad roads that need to be done. I mean, see this video. It's disheartening. The owner of the car, the situation of the road, commuters cannot pass. You're going to work. It is difficult. Even shop owners cannot even open shops. I mean, this should be a major priority. I know it is difficult. And also, at the same time, we need to talk to ourselves as the citizen. We shouldn't just blame the government alone. The citizens also have a lot to play. Blocking the drainages and all of that can also cause this, you know, this kind of disaster and situation. It's not just in Benin City. Other states also experience this, you know. Blocking drainages can happen to this. I mean, the governor of Edo State, the governor of Delta State, and other states that are experiencing this kind of situation, they should look into it. Minister of Works should look into it. It is a lot to be done. I mean, this is really, really disheartening, trust me.
It definitely is. Just to imagine the businesses that have felt the effects of this bad road, the commuters that are also constantly feeling the pressure of this bad road. Now, something that I'd like to highlight from your disposition, Marcelina, is the fact that us as citizens also have a role to play. And you talked about blocking the drainages. Now, there's something over the weekend that I saw on social media that's actually circulating on social media right now. It highlights or spotlights how public infrastructure are being destroyed, malhandled by citizens. Now, some of these young people in, you know, a video that we'll get to see later on in the show, maybe on our TMI social segment, it shows these young people destroying the roads to be able to get metal rods from that infrastructure to sell as scrap something we all call Iron Condemn. It was just so crazy. I don't know if Mercelina or Joseph, you saw this particular video over the weekend, and if you have something to say also.
Yeah, I think this issue has been on for several months now, and it is the reason why recently we saw the Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, inaugurating about 40 coastal guards to watch the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. The reason simply is because there are residents that are bringing down pillars just to, scavenge irons to be sold as scrap. And, he took that initiative to prevent that by, getting 40 coastal guards. But we say that is not enough, and we say that issue has been on for several months, if not years. If you come down to the north, you will see on the way how pillars are destroyed just in search of iron. You need iron 12, 16, 18, 20, as the case may be. And those are sabotage that must not be allowed, because it draws back economic growth, it draws back economic development, and it reduces, productivity. Because what you already have, why should you allocate resources to, have those things replaced because they have been damaged? So it's something that not only the federal government should do, state government should also look into this. If it's possible for state governors to create an agency or a ministry to look into, protection of public facility, public infrastructure, that should be done. We have seen videos where people are bringing down street lights, believing that street lights prevent, rain from falling. You can imagine the level of low level of knowledge when it comes to rainfall, where people believe that street light prevents rainfall. So there are a lot that federal government, state government, and even the local government can do. It's not just to wait for FAC, share the money, and then pay salary, the remaining one, you go to Bureau de Change, convert it into hard currencies and pocket it. There are a lot of things that government should do.
All right, thank you so much for that. Well, it's just so appalling, both the destruction of these infrastructure and those that renegade on their duties at the federal and state level to make Nigeria habitable. The crux of the conversation is still those roads. Something needs to be done. It's a drawback economically, it's a drawback on our daily lives, and hopefully attention would be put right there at the Benin-Agbo bypass. Okay, so Mercelina and Joseph will hear from you later in the show. This is still This Morning on ITV TMI. We'll take a short break now, after which is our newspaper review segment, where we'll take a look at our national dailies. Stay tuned.
some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe.
That's what
And these
happened.
women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of 2 local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 200.
Welcome back to TMI. We're now in our newspaper review segment. It's Monday, the 24th of August. Now let's take a look at what our national dailies are saying. We'll kickstart this with the Daily Monitor. The Daily Monitor newspaper headlines: no amount of resistance from Tinubu supporters can't stop me. And who says that? It's Atiku. Also on Daily Monitor newspaper, we see there alleged Tinubu drug records. Ex-COAS warns against making documents public. That's on Daily Monitor. Now, there are some other stories. If you grab yourself a copy, you get to see those stories. Let's move on to our next point of call on the newspaper review segment this morning. We'll look at Daily Sun. Daily Sun headlines: Tinubu, Atiku, Obi defer on economy, security, education. Subriders say Nigeria needs new economic direction, not Tinubu's policy, says Duke. Also, subsidy, Atiku's U-turn without accountability, dishonest, and who says that? It's Hashim. Also, a subrider on the same story says stakeholders demand issue-based campaigns when against violence. Other stories on Daily Sun, we see Delta dismisses Omoagege's assassination claims, accuses him of seeking cheap media attention. That story is from Delta State and it's on page 29 of Daily Sun newspaper. Another story on Daily Sun headlines: federal government targets digital independence, spends 3.8 trillion naira on IT. It says 2 satellites, cloud drive, and cuts foreign tech reliance. All those stories are on Daily Sun. Away from that, we see beer prices may rise as breweries battle 113 billion naira H1 tax bill, higher energy costs. Another story is on the 2027 campaign. Kawu urges Yarhead APC Council to acknowledge Nigerians' hardship. Another story, and it's on Business, says 42 billion naira social welfare allocation from 20.4 trillion naira windfall is troubling, and that's said by some experts. Now let's move on to the next paper we'll be taking a look at this morning. Let's look at Nature News. Now, Nature News headlines: Egyptian investors eye $500 million Ekiti resource processing opportunities. Still on Nature News, Kano population boom puts climate waste systems under pressure. Away from that, Navy provides solar borehole, town hall for Cross River community. Also on Nature News, NIHSA flood expert alert: Lagos, Kaduna, Borno, Abia, and 29 states at risk. Another headline there says, engineers urge Nigeria to convert 32 tons of waste into jobs. More headlines, engineers urge Nigeria to convert 32 million tons of waste into jobs. That's a repeat on that story. Away from that, drought exposes hidden nutrients deficiencies in crop. Now move on to our next paper where we'll be taking the headlines this morning. Let's look at the Nigerian Tribune. A major headline on the Nigerian Tribune is on the Presidential Campaign Committee as ADC leaders in battle of wits. And that's on page 22. Another story on the Nigerian Tribune is on the security situation in Nigeria as bandits kidnap Kwara traditional ruler. Another headline, motorists groan, trucks trapped in Oyekiti. Ilupeju, Kaba Road collapses. Subrider says federal government flag off Ibadan Ijebu-Ode road distillation today. And on entertainment, and this is a big one that's circulating even on social media and other news outlets, Nollywood Ogun government mourn as Ogogo dies of cancer at 66 to be buried today in Ilaro. And that's a sad story. May his soul rest in peace. More news in Nigerian Tribune. NDLEA arrests 101-year-old woman, seizes 4.4 billion naira worth of land at Akpakpa. And that story is also a very popular one. Now let's move on to our next paper for review this morning. Let's take a look at another paper. Let's move on to our next point of call on the newspaper review segment. Yes, let's look at Daily Trust. A major headline there on Daily Trust says, new phantom agency courts SGF governors. Now, this is another story that has, made headlines in a lot of places, especially since we're barely just recovering, I would say, from the other fake agency story. Now, this is another one that's circulating on the social media space. Now, also on Daily Trust, we see concerns over inclusion of Better Edu others in Tinubu's campaign council. Another story on Daily Trust says phone technician loses 2 wives and children to fire. That's a sad one. Moving away from that, fuel subsidy will reverse gains, and that's by minister. Another story on Daily Trust, we see many worshippers abducted from Niger mosques during Jumat prayer. More stories on Daily Trust. How my husband, 2 children died after eating amala. A widow says that. A recurrent headline there is on NDLEA, which arrests 101-year-old woman for allegedly selling drugs. Now let's move on to New Telegraph newspaper. Let's take a look at what it's saying. Now it's on Donald Duke, where Thabo Mbeki told Nigeria could face a coup over Obasanjo's second-term bid. Nigeria would have been a different place if Yaradua hadn't died. Who's saying this? It's Pat Utomi. In more stories, we see Melaye heads to court over NRS boss Adedeji's role in Tinubu's campaign council. A subrider on that story, which you'll see on page 2 and 4 of New Telegraph, says Serap to INEC publish political donation limits and party finances. Other stories on New Telegraph there is on Kogi Central, factors that will decide Natasha and Bello rematch. That's on page 11. Away from that, Tinubu afraid of competition, and who says that? It's Galadima. It also goes on to say, we've answers for anyone who accuses Obi for anything. And that's also said by Galadima. A recurrent story, which we taken before on another national daily, is that Nollywood this time grieves veteran actor Ogogo, that is Taiwo Hassan, as he bows to cancer at age 66. Now, his daughter recalls the last moments, and the burial is slated for today. Now, let's move on to our next paper. We'll be taking the headlines this morning. Well, the Guardian newspaper headlines, 14 years after report, bloated agency cost 1 trillion in 2026. Well, let's call it the wrap of our newspaper review segment so that we can move on to our discussion segment. We'll be talking about the 2027 presidential election as its campaign season is officially opening. We'll talk a lot about that. We have very insightful guests joining us this morning, and I'll be taking you through that conversation. Stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
In a rare display of botanical brilliance, the palm tree defied natural norms, sprouting multiple branches that bear fruits. This rare occurrence has become a wonder to many, as experts are calling it a one-in-a-million phenomenon. Could this multiple-headed marvel hold secrets to agricultural breakthroughs, or is it simply a freak accident of nature? An agronomist with Nigeria Institute for Oil Palm Research, NIFOR Benin. The strange palm tree also raises issues of a blend of science with human interest and cultural significance for maximum impact.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe.
Welcome back to This Morning on ITV TMI. Now we're in our discussion segment. This is the big conversation. Nigeria's 2027 presidential election is officially in campaign season, and the political battle is already taking shape. On one side, the ruling APC is putting its campaign machinery on ground. And there's a whole lot to talk about in that vein. With me to talk about this and so many more on the 2027 election, which we're about to have in the studio right here in Benin, is Christopher Ujekere, an ADC Edo State spokesperson. It's so good to have you. Good morning, and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
All right. So the election campaign season is already on the hand. And now on one side, the opposition parties and political heavyweights are still wrestling with one big question. Are we ready to take on the APC, which is, the ruling party come 2027? And also, just to let you know, dear viewer, we have Comrade Emmanuel Obidi, the national coordinator of the Dixon Movement for Democracy. He's joining us via Zoom from Abuja. Good morning to you. It's good to have you and see you again on the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Nigerians.
Thank you so much. Now, the conversation is still on the 2027 general elections and, the campaign season. Let me start from Benin right here. Do you think a single opposition candidate, maybe even the ADC, can withstand the ruling APC come 2027?
What is there to withstand about the ruling APC? The ruling APC is on oxygen mask. So what's there to withstand about them? Nigerians have already verdicted that in 2027, January 16, the ruling APC ceases to rule. There is nothing to withstand competition. APC is not competitive right now. I mean, look at all the indices of governance. Go back to the primary purpose of government, which is welfare and security. In which of those flanks is APC competing? They were talking about withstanding them. Is APC going to push hunger agenda against the solutions to hunger, to agricultural failure that ADC is proffering? Is APC going to push its failed subsidy against the cutting-edge, state-of-the-art policy that Atiku has just laid out there? So APC is not competitive. So when people talk about withstanding the APC, except you are speaking about withstanding APC's plan to rig 2027, in which case I would direct you to the electorate. And I will start with the pre-election demonstration that has just happened in Osun State. The politics of Nigeria today, as it will be in 2027, is already in the hands of the electorate. It's in the hands of the voters. And whereas that APC was directing its attention to gathering an elite mob to try to intimidate the opposition went for the grassroots. And now we have the army of grassroots to answer to every form of election infraction that APC will have up its sleeves. 27 governors and almost all of the national paraphernalia were mobilized to Osun State. And the masses, the voters, the Nigerian people defeated all of them in one state. Now they're going to be spread thin to, the remaining states of the federation competing in the election. You won't have 27 governors in one state. So they're going to be a runover, a walkover for us. APC has nothing to offer. You campaign with development. You campaign with deliverables. You campaign with, achievements. APC doesn't have any of those. The only thing they are going to concentrate on is rigging. And the mass army of Nigerian voters are waiting there in the field for them. So there's no withstanding APC. Don't give them the airs and robes that they don't borrow them robes. Right. They don't have that.
All right. So let me come to you, Emmanuel Obidi, right there on Zoom. People have been talking about an Atiku Obi arrangement and what it would have actually looked like. They're saying that the opposition learns nothing from 2023. They should have, merged to join forces to be able to win come 2027, and that the whole split, Obi going his own way, Atiku going his own way, has been a great mistake on the part of the opposition. But do you think that this holds any water?
Okay, thank you very much. When we are having conversation around political engagement, it is very critical that we estray history, either very recent or long-standing history about political development. If you look very just now, in 2023, Peter Obi was on the ballot, despite the fact that he was on the ballot and his running mate, quote and unquote, was someone that was not adjudged to be fully on ground in the northern flank of our political space. His popularity, his capacity, the love of the people was able to mobilize across the northern and the southern states that delivered victory to him in the 2023 election.
So we are set as a party, I speak for ADC here.
Act together, or the party having the act together. There's no seamless run. Let's face it. What are some hitches that you think your party should fix as it looks up to 2027?
Hitches from the APC or from? From
the ADC. You don't think there's any problem at all that should be addressed?
We have been the cat with 9 lives. Okay. They thought that they could plant, some form of division, discord, opposition on our way by heaping on us a barrage of court cases and all of that. But we have shown our resilience and tenacity, which are the hallmarks of our presidential candidate. It has, percolated around the party, and we have been able to show that we overcome. We take them as they come. The harder they come, the harder they fall. So we can have 1 or 2 internal, it's very normal in politics, where, people have, for instance, when Amechi, contested against the presidential flag bearer now, which is Atiku Abubakar. He made some comments on radio and people were saying, oh, they've finally gone apart and all that. But you saw how, through political brinksmanship, they came together again, and Rotimi Amechi today is vice president. So we have mechanisms with which we deal with whatever issues of, political dissent.
So are the people, they say when elephants fight, it's a common saying, it's the grass that suffers. Would you say that's how politics is, just speaking from your words?
Yes, that's how politics is all over the world. I mean, you must have, first of all, internal contestation. I mean, different ideas coming together. During those contestations within the party, you are synthesizing. And then you come up with a front that is solid because you have reconciled all the ideas together. And that's how it should work. So when you are there, you won't find that Atiku now speaking in discordant tone opposed to Amechi or vice versa, because they have married the ideas and synthesized, and we are moving forward. So that's why you find that the APC is jittery. I mean, look at the unwieldy number of bringing everybody on the street into a presidential council. Is that not too heavy for them to be carried around? That's already a baggage.
We'll talk some more about that. We're still with Obidi in this conversation on the task before the APC Campaign Council, and also looking at an Atiku Obi merger. What would it have been? And you were talking, Obidi, don't let me cut you. Don't let the network cut you. Please go on.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes, seamlessly, I can.
Okay, I was just trying to further establish the fact that Obi Kwankwaso, the OK ticket, is a political formula that can win election anywhere in the world, including Edo State, including Nigeria, as well as a ticket that have directly issued a quick notice to the current occupant of the Aso Rock. Even without a very solid running mate in 2023 election, Peter Obi won that election landslide, except for the institutional rigging and political rigging that we saw, which will not be possible in the 2027 election, because the people are out in anti-rigging machinery to resist any form of political rigging or institutional rigging. Having said that, while there are some school of thought that says there would have been a merger and all of that, you know, people are entitled to their opinion. But as it is today, according to the Electoral Act, it is near impossible for any two political candidates from different parties to come together anymore. The collaborations that I think we can be discussing at this time is a collaboration that we fight against any form of rigging machinery, that we put oppositions together in one stand to defend their votes. If an opposition party from party A wins an election and is convincingly, all other oppositions should be able to support and agree in that direction. Not the usual kind of opposition where we see that a few days to election, opposition parties begin to endorse the incumbent and begin to run into the incumbent and do alliance with them. All opposition at this time can as well take a microscopic view into the analysis of who is the best among the best in the opposition. They can decide to mobilize support and have a discussion, to support one particular ticket. And if you ask me today, the OK ticket is one of the most viable, most sellable, and most productive and acceptable ticket to Nigerians. So opposition can have a discussion around pulling their weight to one particular ticket, while they have a discussion in terms of how to manage governance by the time they eventually win. But one thing is very clear, that the OK ticket as it stands is viable and has the capacity to deliver victory through the NDC platform in the 2027 election. And all other opposition should be able to mobilize around themselves, to be able to defend themselves, and to be able to resist any form of intimidations. Not when one opposition is saying something to the right and another opposition is saying something else to the left. We must have a common goal and we must have a common agenda to drive a transparent, free, fair, and credible election that incumbents will not be able to use the machinery of state powers to influence this election. And if you look at currently the campaign councils that have been constituted by the incumbents, you will see the influence or the use of state resources and state machineries. The question is, what is somebody like General Christopher Musa, the Minister of Defense, who is saddled with the responsibility to defending our territorial integrity and the nation? His office has nothing to do with politics. How will such persons be enlisted to be in the campaign council of a political party? Even if he serves in the government of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, his loyalty is to the Nigerian state, not to the APC. His appointment has not automatically made him a member of APC and to be campaigning for a particular political party. That is already an error, which means, as it is today, that section of the security agency has been skewed to the direction of a particular contestant in the election, instead of to be, in the protection of the entire Nigerians. So we want to call on the Minister of Defense, as a matter of urgency, to resign.
All right. Thank you so much. That's your view, though.
Council of the APC.
Thank you so much for your disposition, letting us in on all that. Now, just so you know, we have another very informed mind when it comes to politics and giving analysis on issues like this. Right here on the table in Benin, we have the HOD of Mass Communication at the University of Benin. Dr. Dan Ekeraifo is right here. And I really like the neutrality of this guest right now. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I would welcome you with this question. We're talking about the 2027 general election. It's already campaign season. The APC's campaign tactics moving up to the polls, and what a single opposition would have looked like. Would it have been a great merger, or would it have ended in a political deadlock? Now, as said, this question is what I want to welcome you with. What do you think is the biggest challenge for the APC come 2027, from campaigning to the polls itself?
Well, for those of us who live in Benin, and if you have followed the social media for the past 3 days, it is the state of the Benin-Asaba highway where there has been a deadlock. People are unable to move for the past 3 days. Last week, the Minister of Works told the world that the reason why they cannot intervene is that the road has been concession. One of the questions you would ask yourself is, you giving a contract to a man who is incompetent. That project is almost a year old. The contractor seems to have a directionless approach to the reconstruction of that road. For those who live around that area, if you are talking about campaigns, the first question that will confront you is, with this state of things, let's not discuss its security and all other issues. So as the campaigns get closer, the challenge before the APC is to present to Nigerians their scorecard. I've always said that election is a referendum of your performance. If the president says he has done well for this nation, the campaign team, we want to see what the campaign team will show to Nigerians as evidence. In doing that, people will be able to ask questions about the living standards of Nigeria, whether our lives have improved or not. I know for many political scientists or politicians themselves, election season, whether you have done well or not, is opportunity for rhetorics, where people will tell you, we have done this, we have done that. One typical case we have discussed here in the past is the Abuja-Benin Highway. That project has been on since 2009, 1999, if I'm not mistaken. Every government that comes in will tell you we will address the road. They do palliative works on the road and they abandon it. And sometimes when some politicians come on air to start defending the inefficiency in government, you'll be asking yourself, is it that you don't ply the road or you're not a Nigerian? They will tell you they are loyal party men. Loyal party men who see the truth and turn their face against it. But my happiness is that all of us live in Nigeria. They all live in perpetual fear. That is why when they travel, they go with a high retinue of security aid to protect themselves to the detriment of others. For me, the rhetoric of this election should rather be, what type of Nigeria do we want? How do we get about it? If the individuals who have managed our affairs have not done well, will it be right for us to return them to power? That is a question Nigeria should ask themselves. On both sides of the divide, whether it will be Kwankwaso, Tinubu, Shetima, the reality before Nigerians is that we want a better Nigeria for ourselves. So if the president says he has done well, we want to see evidence. For those who don't travel, they may conclude that the man has not done anything. So if you live on this part of the world, you may conclude that he's not doing anything. For those who are benefited, they will tell you he's the best thing that has happened to them. But when they cascade all they have done in terms of achievement, it is now left for Nigerians to decide whether they should return the government or not.
That is very true. 2027 polls are going to be very evidence-based for the people. I'll come to you with this. Opposition always comes and says, no more APC, no more incumbents come 2027. But beyond just wanting to win the election as the opposition, is there really a clear message that the opposition has for Nigerians, apart from wanting to kick the APC out of office?
The most articulate clear, defined, useful, purposeful policy proposition that you have seen in the past 4 years, 3 years, has been proposed by Atiku Abubakar, who is a leading figure in the opposition. And that is to deal with the issue of subsidy, to attack frontally that deception that happened on Eagle Square during the inauguration of President Tinubu, who spoke with bravado to the world that he was taking out subsidy and that money that will be shored up and recovered from subsidy removal will be plowed back. You just heard from the HOD how that the only thing you can find in abundance in the Benin Agbo Road Hill axis is the abundant tears of Umahi. Do you know how many times Umahi has come to this state to cry about the state of the road when Obaseki was in power? What you find there now, the abundant tears, there's no more road. Of Umahi, he said he was going to move subsidy from import subsidy to production subsidy, where you will now subsidize local refinery and local refining, so that you achieve at least two things. One, you achieve the fact that you have brought it back to become an indigenous, productive economy for Nigeria that is producing the crude. So crude is given to local refiners and local refineries that are worthy and capable at reduced costs. In Chicago University, so your economy should attend to the needs of Nigerian people. And let me tell you that Atiku's model will provide jobs for hundreds of thousands of Nigerians.
All right. Well, before I let you continue, we do still have Comrade Obidi Emmanuel standing by on Zoom. But before, that's just to remind us. But I want Dr. Dan here to weigh in on something. We've talked about, on your end, we've talked about the ruling APC and the challenges that they face come 2027, where you highlighted the pitfall
in these areas. Let's look at the analysis. Whether you like it or not, people of the Southwest will go with their brother as president. Yes, the Southeast will go with Obi. The Northeast will go with Atiku. So where the battle will be with the Southwest, South-South, and North-Central. So what is the level of activities of the opposition parties in these regions that are not for strong contention? Because in our voting over the years, people vote based on ethnic loyalty. Yes. Nobody should tell you, yes, no, vote neutrally. It is not true. So if you identify this gap, the key area...
Here's my question for you. What do you think will be the determining factor come 2027? Is it the performance of the ruling party, the APC, the strength of the opposition, or basically just the mood of the electorate come 2027? And when I talk about the mood of the electorate, maybe campaign promises might be a part of it, and maybe all of these...
In control of 17 local governments out of 25 local governments in some states, and all of that, where Nigerians are now being forced to pay levy, security levy, and revenue to bandits. There are a lot of ungoverned space. We have seen this is not the same soldiers that fought the Ecomog War, that restored peace in Liberia, and have conquered the many peacekeeping nations, peacekeeping missions in various nations. So all of these issues, including the economy, where our Naira can no longer buy the things they can afford in the past years, where these are some of the things that will decide the decision of Nigeria to obey the instruction of Mr. President, except those who are enjoying 24 hours electricity in Nigeria. I don't think there is anybody like that, except those who have installed the solar panel in Asu Rock today. Then another thing that will shape the competence of the candidates that are presented in the ballot. And if you ask me today as it is, we have a candidate that have distinguished himself in these capacities and in these parameters, which is the person of Peter Obi under the NDC, that have said I will turn this country from consumption to production. What does that mean? Including the oil that we are taking out of the crude oil that we take out of this country as raw product, raw materials, and we bring back refined products where subsidy that was used as a conduit pipe to siphon money in the name of subsidy over the years. He is saying, if this country becomes a production state today, this crude oil will no longer go out. This crude oil will be refined within the Nigeria state and will be duly subsidized. Peter Obi is not talking of an economy without subsidy. He's talking about subsidy without corruption. Okay? He has also said that we have what it takes. Go to the north. Nigeria have what it takes to attain self-sufficiency and even start exporting food commodities to other African countries today, and also provide jobs for the millions of Nigeria. As it is today under the ruining APC, you will agree with me that national poverty is higher than the population of a whole Ghana. So for those who have been entrenched into poverty, we have a candidate who said, I will pull people out of poverty. Not through conditional cash transfer that you cannot trace. No, but with true viable economic policies that will empower the small medium scale business owners in this country. And that blueprint is very clear as to how Nigerians will be pulled out of poverty. That is the way to go. Thank you.
Now just in a bit to also get your final words, I want to ask this question. There's some particular candidates for the 2027 political battle, which are very popular on social media. I don't need to call names. You probably already know who that is. Do you think that that social media popularity is going to translate to the polls? Are the youth going to come out as they did in 2023?
You see, as it is today, we cannot undermine the power of the social media. We cannot undermine the influence of our media space, whether online. But the fact is that, how are we able to translate our popularity within the online space into the on-ground mobilization? As it is today, there is no candidate in the 2027 election that has more social media presence than His Excellency Peter Obi. The difference between himself in the online space and others who are also contending within the online space is that while he is available and conspicuous in the online space, pushing out persuasive messages that convince Nigeria, he is also fully on ground. There are many who are in the online space, but their presence are not on ground. Our advice for such persons and such candidates is to do the needful, to do the patriotic things, to mobilize his own capacity and support one of the best candidates that has convinced Nigeria, that have presented a blueprint on how he can win election. So we should begin to live beyond.
Thank you, comrade, for your disposition there. I sincerely appreciate it. I'm sure our viewers do too. All right, so in a bit to get final words before we give it over to Abuja, Dr. Dan, what's your advice to the electorate come 2027?
Well, I've listened to his presentation. The reality about election, beyond social media presence and all the rest, individuals who go to the polling unit to vote should be ready to protect their vote and insist that their vote count. How do you do this? For those who are not in politics, they don't understand the underhand dealings that go during elections. It is good for us to do all the talk, but you don't know the type of meetings politicians holding with INEC officials.
Oh, okay.
Elections cannot be manipulated if there is no serious conspiracy between the political class and INEC officials. They may tell you, oh, we are going to conduct a free and fair elections. Those who work in INEC are not strangers. They are Nigerians. So if the process must work, electorate must demand that when their votes are counted, the right result should be entered into the appropriate result sheet and uploaded. If you don't have that, you can do what it talks. Once the results move from one polling unit or they cause disruption in connection with security agencies, all this grammar we are all speaking will be nothing to talk about. So the key to us having a good election in 2027, INEC should come clean. The electorate should be ready to defend their vote by insisting that the right results, as the votes were cast at the polling unit, should be entered into the result sheet. It is only when you have this type of system that you can say there is hope for 2027. If not, I can tell you officials, secret meetings will be held few days or few weeks before the election. Arrangements will be perfected on how they will go about the whole process. So the opposition has a responsibility to be on the watch to ensure that these things are not manipulated. If not, you'll be looking and you're very present. They will turn result against you and there's nothing you can do. The funny thing is that sometimes when these things happen, security agencies will turn the other way and pretend nothing is happening. So these are critical stakeholders that must come clean. You must have elections that have semblance of free and fairness. Security agencies, INEC officials, the electorate themselves. Politicians will always come and tell you, we will do this, we will do that. We understand the rhetorics of politics, but governance is not the same as talking politics. But for the electorate, whoever you are thinking of, or Nigerians are thinking of to be their president in 2027, when they cast their vote, they must ensure that their vote counts. And the prayer we pray is that INEC officials, you are suffering the pains of Nigeria, feeling the pains as Nigerians too. Let the right thing be done so that we can have a society that all of us will be proud of.
Okay, you've spoken about these agencies, INEC, our security agencies, and everybody that would have in the workings of 2027. Ideally, these bodies are supposed to work independently from the government of the day. But it seems the government does have some powers, you know, on these agencies.
Well, if you follow elections critically, there is always a stakeholders meeting on how the elections will be conducted. There is the security side of it, there is the INEC side of it, there is the political party side of it. All politicians will want to influence INEC officials, whether those in opposition, whether those in the ruling party. It's a commodity in our society. They want to influence INEC officials to gain favor. Some of them want to offer financial inducement to security agencies to compromise the process. So it's not a case of the ruling party here. I'm saying this because I have participated in elections over and over again. I understand clearly some of the things that take place in the process. So if you must get the best out of it, the security agencies must be ready to stay neutral. If you have that system where the security agencies are neutral, if there's an infraction, they deal with it professionally, and INEC officials are ready to come clean, that is when you start having a hope that we're going to have an election that counts. If all these things are not there, we will do what they talk and nothing is going to happen.
In the same vein, Christopher Ojekiri, let me ask you, all of these agencies that have just been spotlighted by Dr. Dan here, they have such important role to play come 2027. How can they move beyond being compromised by either the incumbents or the opposition, just to give us free, fair, and credible elections come 2027?
Whereas that the elections have these stakeholders, the real stakeholder is the people.
Are you sure? Because there's a lot of people that were
with an overwhelming turnout of voters. Now, I give you an example.
Okay, would you say 2023 did not have that overwhelming turnout? Because a lot of a section of Nigerians still complain so much.
Yes. So the point I'm making to you is this, and that's I was going to come to that point. When you have an overwhelming turnout of voters, they will force these institutions. You have a case in hand. Don't undermine it and underrate it. The Osun election.
Okay.
The intention didn't change in the Osun election. They still had the same intention, but the voters defeated it. Now, in the North, for instance, when they did primaries for political parties, about 6 parties, about 6 states were begging people to buy NDC forms for free so that they can be candidates. You cannot expect NDC to win election in those places where they didn't even get people to take the forms. Whereas you had for NDC candidates, single positions, 50, 60 people competing for it. And that's where you have the election. That's where you have the overwhelming population. You were overrating Kwankwaso. Kano Central, which is the most popular senatorial district in Kano State, where Senator Hanga represents, have left NDC and told you what he's seeing on ground, that the person to beat in this election is Atiku's ADC. The contest that has been painted here is the same contest as 2023. If that contest did not produce Obi, why will he produce it now? After Obi has gone through stages where he has lost so much credibility and street followership, haven't gone to 5 parties in 4 years. No, we are talking reality here. Okay. Haven't gone to about 5 parties in 4 years. Now, so the point is, when you are doing political analysis, look at current situation on ground. Buhari, which was Atiku's problem in the north, is out of the way. Atiku is the new northern leader and commanding the political population of the north. So it's a wrong thing for ADC.
Thank you. Such powerful dispositions from all our brilliant minds, our guests that we've had on the program this morning. Now, Nigeria's 2027 presidential election is officially in campaign season, and the political debate is already taking shape. We've gotten to talk all about it, from the ruling APC putting its campaign machinery together to what would have been if we had an Atiku-Obi coalition. I want to say thank you so much to Christopher Ojekere, Dr. Dan Keraifo, and also Comrade Obidi Emmanuel, which I had on Zoom. Thank you so much. We'll now join Abuja Center, where they'll continue the conversation on their end. After we do take this intermission, it's still This Morning on ITV TMI. Don't go away.
this morning on ITV, bringing us to Abuja Network Center studio, rather, where we'll be taking a look at the implication of Governor Ademola Adeleke presenting his certificate of return to President Bola Tinubu and the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. So much, discussion have been aired on that. Some see that as some kind of political campaign where Osun State is on the list of the APC state that will vote for Tinubu comes 2027, while others feel that well, it's a way of Wike increasing his rainbow movement. Whatever it is, we are going to be hearing from two gentlemen on the program this morning. One, via Zoom, he is the special advisor to the Edo State Governor on digital resources, Collins Amadine, and of course an APC chieftain, Sadiq Jikta. He will be with us through the phone line. And so quickly start with Collins Amadine, if he can see me. Okay, yeah, beautiful. Very good morning to you, Collins.
Yeah, very good morning to you, my brother. How is Abuja?
Abuja is fine. You know that Wike has issued a threat to demolish the houses of individuals that are on the waterways. I'm sure yours is not that, even though you are in Benin.
I'm a law-abiding citizen. I wouldn't build on waterways.
Okay. All right. That's a beautiful one. So let's get your opening remarks concerning the signal of Adeleke going to show his or present his certificate of return to President Bola Tinubu and, of course, the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. What does that signal?
Yeah, what it simply means is that there's politics in politics. For those who do not understand how politics entails, you see them on the streets screaming, fighting, and killing. But sometimes politics is far more than that. First, I want to pray that the souls of those who died as a result of the pre-election arrangement rest in peace. It was quite unfortunate that souls had to go just for a mere election that has just come and gone. And at the same time, the both actors have embraced themselves, or the major actors have agreed that it was a beautiful thing to have participated, and it was a beautiful thing to have had the president giving him the needed support or allowing a playground to which he emerged as the governor. First is a good thing. And for some of those opposition who wanted to use Osun State election as a way to operate as usual, get kudos where they did not make any contribution, Adeleke have shown to them that please don't come close, don't bother yourself. And he has gone to visit those who he feels were major stakeholders that stood by him and make sure he was not defeated or he was not oppressed. And you can imagine that even the president had to ask EFCC to let go if there was any issue with the Adeleke's government. It was not close to an eve of an election that an account should be freezed. Please unfreeze it, after which you can go into all of that. And that was an action from a statesman, a man who had fought for democracy. You even heard Adeleke talked about it. He fought for the democracy we are enjoying today, and he's ready to protect the same democracy. He also went further to visit the FCT minister, which you and I know is always outspoken. And for him to have done that, that is to tell you, before the election, he must have also visited him in a quiet moment to say, please, help me, support me. Because election is all about hand stretching. You stretch your hand, you seek for support, either it's financially or it's morally. So for him to have done all this, that means they were there for him. You also saw another desperado went to look for Adeleke at home and was snapping with him. Please bring your certificate. I have come all the way from River State. I don't want to go back empty. Let me also snap with you. And many wanted to visit. Adeleke had to stop them. Please don't use my Osun State to run election, because my vote, that of my supporter, that of my party, that of my children, that of my wives, if you have more than one wife, they belong to Bola Ahmed Asiwaju.
Beautiful narration that you have given there. But take a look at what happened before the election, where we saw over 10 APC governors, you know, all in Osun State to support Ambo. And today, it didn't come to their expectation, and Adeleke seems to be the bride. I mean, is that the kind of politics that we should be expecting the coming days?
Thank you very much. It's a party thing. A governor is a party man. So when a campaign council is created, it does happen. Osun State is not the first place where you have seen governors go to solidarize with their party member, and Osun State will also not be the last. In the Edo election, not even the one that brought my principal on board, the first election that Obaseki did at the time when he was in PDP, when he was contesting for his second term, all of the opposition governors, led by Wike then, were in Benin City. In short, they locked up everywhere because Obaseki was the incumbent governor. And they came for solidarity. And in the same vein, we also have some APC governors who also came in solidarity. One must win, one must lose. And in that election, Obaseki won, because late Muhammadu Buhari, as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, was doing anti-party against us here. Even though we're in his party, he supported Obaseki to win that election. The then governor is still a governor, but when he was in PDP, Fantiri and all that, we're all in Edo. So when Aswen was also to contest with my principal, they also have a lot of solidarity from the governor, from the PDP. We also have from the APC, and we won. So it has become a culture. It has become a norm to solidarize. Now that they are solidarizing, we should not make it look as if it's an offense. So it's normal. It's normal. Excepting we are going to have a law that will say a sitting governor should not support his party. But if that is not there, it's no crime, and it will never be a crime. For the fact that even if 10 governors or 30 governors goes in solidarity, that does not mean that that party must win by force. No, we are in a democracy. All you need to know, all you need to do is to play your card well. And when you play it well, the people will decide. Are you there, please?
Happened? Yeah, I can hear you clearly, and I just want to come in by simply asking, is this not a sign that Adeleke may be involved in anti-party when, of course, 2027 draws near? Because he is a member of Accord Party. I'm sure Accord will also, have also fielded a presidential candidate, and he's not even selling his party. He's not selling his candidate. He's selling the candidate of another party. Is that not anti-party that we are seeing that will, you know, blow and will be something that should not be seen? Because I'm yet to see a governor who wins and then took his certificate of return to you know, the opposition, you know, members of the opposition to say, I have won the election. I don't know if you have seen.
The political system has become a family system. It's not, we now have what we call the rebel coalition. Probably Adeleke is already a member of the rebel coalition. The rebel coalition is an organized system of political parties coming together to go for the best. So he said it in the eyes of his party before the election that he was going to support the reform program, all of the gesture of the president to make sure he returned back in 2027. And I am also sure the president was also very liberal, accommodating, supportive in his own way. To the Adelekes, one good turn deserves another. So I do not think it's not something that is wrong because it has since started. In short, Buhari started it with Edo election. Buhari created a coalition, a rebel coalition that was not in the open, but was known by party people. So exactly what has now metamorphosed. Wike have had bloody it.
So which means that come 2027, opposition parties will be weakened by this kind of move.
Opposition party doesn't need to be weakened if they are ready for themselves.
I mean, by this kind of move.
It's not. I don't think it's all the opposition parties that are member of coalition, a rebel coalition. I know PDP is a member of rebel coalition. I know some other parties, including Accord Party, are now member of rebel coalition. If not for Adeleke, who is Accord Party ordinarily. So Adeleke is the beginning of Accord Party. It's also the end of Accord Party. You can't eat your cake and have it.
That party existed. That party existed before the ambition of Adeleke.
Without functionality, it existed.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But that party has been in existence.
And they can continue to exist even without Adeleke. That is what he has simply said. That they can continue to exist. Even he himself may not spend too long in the said accord if things are not going well. I am sure before the election, he already had issues with the national body.
You believe he's going to leave Accord Party?
Sorry?
Do you believe that is, from the way you are speaking, it appears you know that he's going to leave Accord Party someday?
Indices are there. I am sure before his election, the national leadership of Accord Party and the state Accord Party were already having a lot of issues. I'm sure you are not new to that. So that simply means there is already some inner fight, which will certainly snowball. And Adeleke, that you and I know, may not want to start sponsoring a national body that he doesn't have good relationship with. So he can as well just quietly join the All Progressive Congress. I will be happy to receive him. After all, the leadership of the APC, which is the president, is his good friend, which he has told us now and before.
Yeah, we understand Adeleke in the coming days will be visiting some other APC governors. Is your principal ready to receive him?
Of course, my principal arms are always open. Whatever you saw that happened before the election is just normal. When my principal was running for election, there were a lot of statements that were made even by opposition party then against him. Nothing they didn't say. He swallowed them and he went out and got the victory. And after which, It's always a reconciliation. If it's only for those who do not understand what partisan politics is, that think you take it to the extreme. We can have issues today, tomorrow we can reconcile. There are a lot of people we have had issue with, but today they have even gone to meeting in PDP. Like Natasha, for example, was once in the other faction of PDP, fighting Wike, but today he calls Wike his national leader and his master. So Wike has since also been supporting her in one way or the other. So that is politics. Fubara and his principal, former Governor Wike, had a lot of issues, and many people felt it is never reconcilable. But today, they are together. There were people who called my principal names here, who fought him, who did so much to him. They are in government, working with him. That's to tell you, there is always a reconciliation after election. But at the point of election, Adeleke certainly understand. He said some statement, his nephew said some things against my principal too. So they also said things, and in return, my principal did not say much apart from just acknowledging that the dancing governor, it's normal. You will be identified with what you like to do. It's not supposed to be an issue. Even Adeleke himself knows that he was a dancing senator before he became a governor. I am sure the dancing steps that he gives made the Osun people voted him as a senator, and as well consolidated on other areas, and also voted him to return back as a governor. So he understands very well. Only the laymen on the street and those who are not politically inclined, that feels heaven is falling, they are friends. They understand themselves. After election, during FEC meeting, you will always see them hug themselves. My principal is a man of God.
Okay, is he a pastor?
He's a man of God.
Okay. All right, before we go, some other section believe that Adeleke is actually mocking the APC and its members, and that's why he's going, from the president to the minister, and the coming days he's going to be seeing some governors and of course showing them his certificate of return, and they believe that he's mocking the APC and members of the APC.
You cannot be mocking people and be visiting them. No. How will he mock? He's an incumbent governor. An opposition party came and scored that high number of
your
votes.
fight against me.
No, come on, let's be realistic. If we are actually to give applause, we should be giving applause to the APC for election that was said to be free and fair, acknowledged by Adeleke, and the opposition party scored 400 and something thousand votes. It wasn't a joke, and it scored a little above 500. The margin was very close. So you can imagine if there were extra force added. So it's a win-win for both. Nobody has actually lost shamefully. So for those who are sitting in a beer parlor and giving statement and false statement, the Adeleke doesn't see it like that, because they understand very well that it was a narrow escape, a very narrow escape. It was man for man, fight for fight, statement for statement, war for war. But thank God, the war has since ended, peace have returned. What is important is moving Osun State forward. No one has been conquered. A party that's got 400 and something thousand, you feel has been conquered?
Comrade,
that must be a joke.
Comrade, you call 67,000 vote difference as narrow escape.
Now, let me tell you, you check the percentage. That is what matters. 60,000 something votes you have said. In Adeleke's election that he used in winning the then incumbent came only from almost 1 unit, because you knew, or you could remember, that election went for a rerun. You knew. So there were some games and things that took place. Even the number that came wasn't the number of even the registered voters in that place. Where the vote that was casted was higher than the number of registered voters from a particular place. And at the end, it was said, go to court. You know, to go to court in Nigeria is not just waking to court. You must have enough evidence. Even if you have the evidence, you have to prove and prove beyond reasonable doubt. And the doubt that it will become, only God knows. We have had people use rice bag and many things to carry assumed evidence to court. And at the same time, they were the one looking for people that fry zakara to come and pack the document because there was no need of taking it back to where it was carried from. So election is not like that. And we must understand that this is a game of politics. It is not how far, it is how away.
I must thank you, Comrade Collins Amadine, for your time with us on the program this morning.
Thank you very much, my brother. God bless you.
I hope to see you again.
Always available. It's my job.
All right. Thank you so much, dear viewers, for spending your time with us on this discussion segment. We now move to Lagos studio after this short break.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as natives are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
The threat of global warming is real. You have seen the destruction of lives and property as a result of incessant flooding. Make the environment a conducive place for all to live in.
Many thanks for still on TMI this beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina Unko, and of course, Dr. Ohai is here with me. We will be doing this together. Doctor, good morning.
Good morning. It's election campaign season, and this is the period, as they say, when some people build their mansions, and then a lot of the monies that have been locked up are unlocked, into the system. But more importantly, this is when we get to know what the candidates have for us, and we're going to be looking at, weeks unfold, the plans and how the campaign is going to be evolving.
All right, then. Thank you so much for that. And also our guest this morning that would help us unpack the conversation for today is Atta Adams. He's a lawyer, legal practitioner, and also multi-skilled professional, Good morning, Mr. Atta.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
So today we're going to be looking at 2027 election and single opposition candidates. Atiku and Obi camps reject proposal. There's this group called the G100. It's a political pressure group for Nigerian opposition parties to unite behind one presidential candidate against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027 election. However, the camps of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi has rejected the idea that the opposition must necessarily produce a single candidate. This disagreement is now raising fresh questions about whether Nigerian opposition parties can present a serious, challenging, candidate to the APC. The G100 has been trying to bring major opposition figures together and has proposed a National Council of Opposition Leaders as part of efforts to find a common strategy for 2027. The group's argument is that splitting opposition's votes could make it easier for the ruling party APC to retain the presidency. So they want all the opposition parties to come together and pick one, select one candidate that will represent, that they all will support. But the camp of Atiku and Obi are not finding it funny at all. They didn't accept it. And also we saw that speaking with on Saturday, Atiku's senior special assistant on public, the former vice president has moved beyond discussions about merely convening an opposition summit. He said he noted that the ultimate decisions would be left to Nigerians based on the policy alternatives presented by the presidential can move beyond conversations, in his word. Atiku has brought to the table the policy alternatives, including what he would do with the petroleum subsidy. He said he's going to bring back subsidy if elected. His policies are about the people and not eating, according to him. He said, come January 2027, Nigerians will make their choices. Interesting. And also, we saw that the National Public Secretary to NDC said the group deserved commendations for seeking to unite the oppositions. He's talking about the G100. But he argued that the country's electoral history demonstrated that an incumbent could be defeated without the opposition parties merging behind the presidential candidate. I think at this point I'm talking so much, Dr. Onai. Let's hear you before we move to Mr. Arthur Adams.
Okay, let me share a personal experience and then maybe might throw more light on this. When I ran for president in 2019, I think around December or January, because the election was in February, we met then in Asaba, Mogalu, Showore, and a lot of the opposition said, you younger ones, look, come together, be under. Of course, I knew it was an exercise in futility at the time, because if you pick one person, his supporters support him for a reason, either for ideological reasons or for whatever. And so the agreement never worked. So, which means this is not the first time. Is there ever a possibility, if you break it down, we'll get into the deeper questions later. The issue of coming together, one person stepping down because you want to come together to win an election, is it workable? Can it really do you think it will make a difference?
Yes, for me, I think both parties are trying to be cocky. Cocky in the sense that I want to be there, I know more than the other party. The same with Peter Obi, the same with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. This can effectively work because we have seen the antecedent, and it worked. What brought in the former president? He contested many times, and then he lost. There have to be several parties that came together, and then he got results. And more importantly, that if you look at the opposition as I'm speaking to you right now, you will see that they are not in stronghold of any state all over the federation. Almost about 30 states in the federation is for APC. And you know that election is done at the grassroots. The governors are involved. It manipulates their way, whether we like it or not. The governors are in charge of the states for the president. And that is the more reason they need to unite together. Otherwise, what we saw in the last election will still repeat itself. The vote will be divided, and Mr. President will use his force, the power that be, to influence the results.
I just want to help you with that question a little more. We're all aware of the APC, the merger, but note, that happened before they produced a candidate, which means that the parties agreed to merge. And it was after the merger that they now went to do a primary and agreed on a candidate. Not parties that have already picked their presidential candidates collapsing. So that's really my question.
It can always happen. There is no law that says that none of the parties can step down.
Okay.
There is no law in the Electoral Act, in the Constitution. It's clear. You can step down at any time. You can say, oh, my supporters vote for so candidate because I believe in his ideology. So at all time before the election, any of the party can step down. That is what the law is all about.
Okay.
Before the election, any of the party can step down.
Yes.
You know, at first, let me take you back when they started this whole coalition stuff was for them to come together to see how they will unseat the ruling president. It didn't work out. I mean, that was when Peter Obi left the party for Atiku and Amechi. Peter Obi and Kwankwaso left to NDC, and this particular group G100, they've been trying their possible best to bring all the opposition parties together so they can select a particular candidate that the order of them will support, to be able to unseat the ruling party. And now, the camp of Obi, they're saying no. Atiku's camp, they're saying no. Which we have, I saw this coming though, which we already knew. Atiku would not want to step down because at this point, he has been contesting for a very long time. Maybe it feels, I need to be president before, he feels he needs to be president because for him to have been contesting for that long, he still hasn't won, but he's still contesting. And Obi, we can see that a lot of youths are supporting Obi, if you would agree with me. And Obi would not want to step down for Atiku. So do you think then
also
at this point...
his followers will not even allow him.
Richard didn't want to.
The threat of global warming is real. You have seen the destruction of lives and property as a result of incessant flooding. Make the environment a conducive place for all to live in. Stop polluting the environment. Protect the environment today. This message is brought to you courtesy Independent Television and Radio.
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Ugemobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
like the coast is not clear, and that's the more reason the two parties needs to unite. I'm in support of the fact that somebody needs to step down for the other person. I don't know whether it's...
know that will not be possible.
It's very, very possible. There is nothing that cannot happen in the political equation. Anything can happen. Like I said, anything can happen.
What can make it possible?
Is their mindset. It's their mindset, because it's their mindset. It's not you, it's not me, it's not their supporters. They themselves, they are political players. They have been in the system for more than 2 to 3 decades. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar have been contesting for many years. Obi equally is a great politician, and the wave also spring in his favor. So as per the youth, but I don't know whether the system will allow him to get there. I don't know whether the system will allow Atiku Abubakar to get there. So these people need to unite together. Otherwise, what happened last time in the last election will still repeat itself. Mr. President is happy that the two of them are contesting. He's very, very happy, because the vote will be splitted. People will vote along region. There is no way you will tell me that people from Obi's region will not vote for him. The North will prefer their candidates. Kwankwaso will have a little influence there. There's a sitting governor in the North, in Kano State right now, that is of APC faction. And then how will you brand it? Will you want to lose the states for Mr. President? And that is a state that the vice president that is deputizing Obi is from, Kano State. So the vote will be divided in that state. Whether we like it or not, the governor will want to do his bid, because he himself is equally contesting. So we need to look at all these factors.
So who do you think should step down?
Well, I don't know. It does not lie. I've answered indirectly. It does not lie in me to say. It's in their mindset. They should go and cast something.
Which of them has a better chance?
The two of them have better chance.
If one
the two of them, even a strong opposition, different from even the two of them, can even win Mr. President now. But what we are saying is that we want them to unite. The opposition should unite. They should come together. Otherwise, it will be an exercise in futility, like you said. They will just go there and waste their money. And let me say this openly. Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, this may likely be their last time of contesting, because age is not on their side.
They've said so, but it's not necessarily so.
Well, they have said it, but who we want to mortgage a country? Atiku Abubakar is 70. Is it 78 or 79? 79 right now as we're speaking. And then you add another 4 years, thereabouts, it will be about 80-something.
It won't be Pobia's age yet. We're in Africa.
I agree with you, but the system, we need a younger generation.
Yes.
We need somebody who is more proactive. We need somebody who understands the system, who can speak to the system, who is in tune with what is trending, not archaic and moribund, dilapidated older people in the system. We don't need them. The system is, that's my take about it. So for me, I think that somebody needs to step down for the other person. Otherwise, they will just go and waste their votes, and then what happened last time will still repeat itself. Mr. President is happy, and I will say it, he's happy that the two of them, now he was not even in power last time, and then he defeated them. Now that he's in power, do you think he will sit back and then he will not want to use all arsenal, all strengths, all powers, incumbency, and fund, and his team, and all the governors all over the federation? He will use them as an instrument to enter the system, and in their usual system. When you complain about anything, the government will slap you with rice. When you complain about bad electricity, the government will flood the system with rice. When you complain about bad road and then infrastructure, the government will say, oh no, we have the solution. Take 7 bags of rice.
Okay, let's do a little exercise. Okay? Say Obi steps down. We're going to do Obi's one as we're building scenarios right now. Obi steps down and then says, okay, I'll support Atiku. You say if they collapse, they have a chance. Now break it down and let's analyze Atiku's chances if Obi steps down and the supporters back him.
Well, I am not. The supporters are another factors you need to look at, because
looking at their chances,
because you as a candidate, you owe allegiance to your supporters. You don't just go there, because if you fail them now, subsequently, they may not support you.
My point exactly, when I was talking earlier.
They may not support you. And then in another fold, once you step down, people may likely look at and say, oh, I've known about Mr. President and then he's not doing well. Let me put my egg with the vice president.
So that against what you say, that if they come together, that they will defeat.
It's
For what you are saying, it still will work out for what you are saying
from
now.
what you're saying.
Because you have by yourself now negated what you said earlier.
Well, there is nothing that cannot.
Because we're trying to build scenarios.
All that Obi needs to do is to work.
No,
is to work on
maybe
it.
Maybe you don't think Atiku stands a chance. Okay, let's say I down for Obi. Let's analyze
What makes
the
you think the
chances.
supporters would support
Let's see, analyze the chances. Let's break it down zone by zone.
Let me say
the
this.
president,
For the
the vice
following
president, and the
for the
their
following
strength.
reason. One, for the following reason.
What will he gain?
For the following reason, if we have one unified opposition.
Let's say it's Peter Obi.
Okay, fine. If Peter Obi is there as the only strong opposition, for the following reason, he is going to likely defeat Mr. President.
Break it down
following
for
reason.
us.
One is the fact that people still have the impression that this is a time of, what is it called?
The South.
The South. He may likely get there for that.
Okay.
There may be sympathy vote along that line. And then number two, for the fact that the region that is from, if you look at the antecedent from 1999 till date, we have not seen them at Aso Rock as the president. People may say, oh, let's give it, this is the only man we trust. Let's give him that hope for that decision. And then number three, for the fact that he said he's just only going to do one term, the North may say, okay, I have that benefits. And then number four, for the fact that he has a vice president from the North that is strong and influential, people may say, okay, let's give it to him. And another fact is the fact that if you look at him age-wise, all the people contesting is younger than them. Among the strong people contesting, Mr. President is, I don't know his age.
Nobody knows.
He's approaching 80 thereabout, or it's above 80 thereabout. Nobody knows his age. And then Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is about 2 to 3 years to 80 years old. He is less than 70 thereabouts. People look at all those things. And then the fact that he's open to people, and then his ideology, what he's preaching and everything. I'm not campaigning for him. You have asked me to highlight
No, but that's
facts.
what. You're an analyst. We like you just go
the
and
facts
analyze.
that will lead people to vote for him, assuming Atiku Abubakar stepped down. So about 5 facts now. His ideology about government,
Where he
come from, number 2, and then the fact that people are saying, oh, we want the South to retain and then finish their 8 years. And then number 4, the fact that people are tired of what Mr. President is doing, right? Failed totally. You look at those facts, and then
So,
people...
so why do you? Sorry. So with everything you have said now,
No, you have asked a question that is tailored to one candidate.
I agree.
You have not talked about the second opposition.
Well, I mentioned it earlier. You know,
your question is very specific.
Yes.
As to whether, if Atiku, what is the likelihood that Obi will win if Atiku step down?
Yeah, well, I asked
It's
you
on that
earlier,
basis. It's on that basis
if
that I
Obi
answered
steps
you.
down,
So if you
and
want me to
Atiku-
break down for Atiku,
that's why I asked
Before you
for
break
earlier.
down for that, let me quickly ask this. Atiku made a statement. He said, oh, if I'm being elected as a president or being voted in as a president, I'm going to bring back subsidy. What would you have to say about that? I mean, do you think that would, maybe he thinks that would make the people want to, vote for him? Because a lot of persons think, oh, this whole problem or this whole economic situation started when the president subsidy. I mean, the first time he spoke as a president of Nigeria, the first thing he said was, oh, I will remove fuel subsidy. And Atiku has said now that if I'm being voted as a president, I'll bring back fuel subsidy. Let's talk about that.
well, let me start by saying that the fuel subsidy of 18 is a scam. And people have been saying it over years, and I will continue to say it. Experts, professionals, lawyers, critics, and human rights activists have been saying that the whole exercise is a scam. And you see that if not desperation of the highest order. But as Mr. President said, the incoming president, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, my apology per se. So
You just called him incoming, but go ahead.
He just did. He just did.
I'm human. It might skip my mind. My apology for that.
Why would you apologize?
No, I don't.
No, it's
I don't
obvious. We already know his supporters. Who he's supporting, rather.
Well, it's not by who I'm supporting. I'm giving a fair analysis.
Go ahead.
I'm giving a fair
Fair
analysis.
enough.
He has decided to say that he will remove fuel subsidy. This is because of the fact that if you look at the history, And then you look at the very first day that Mr. President came on board, he now removed fuel subsidy. Is that how things are done? There is no proper structure on board. Then you just come, fuel subsidy is gone. There's no provision for it. Is it not you that are supposed to make provision for it or anything? So there is no proper planning. What Atiku is saying is that, oh, indeed, yes, I will remove it and then make a proper plan. That was what he said then. But now he said he will retain it. He can't be appropriating and then reprobating. It's not done. You have to be specific. It's desperation of the highest order. Desperation of the highest order. You just want to manipulate the thinking of Nigerians because a lot of people don't even know anything about the fuel subsidy. They don't, if you ask them what is fuel subsidy, they don't even know. So for me, I think that Nigerians they are washing, they are being fair. You cannot eat your cake and have it. It's not possible.
Let's talk about the Osun State election. We saw what happened.
Can you analyze Atiku's chances and then we'll come back to it?
Well, assuming Obi stepped down for Atiku,
okay,
there's every possibility because people will consider the fact that Mr. President has failed woefully. And then they will come out massively and then vote Atiku. They will prefer Atiku because he has branded himself and we have seen over the time that he's a unifier.
Atiku?
Yes, that's number one. And then number two, the fact that the North will rally around him. If assuming Obi step down, the North will rally around him and then say, oh, we want to endorse him, we want to see how we can promote him. And then some other votes, if Obi can influence his supporters to vote Atiku, there's every big possibility that Atiku will get there. And then number three, the fact that look at his ideology, he's been there before, and we saw what his government did.
What did the government do?
A lot of things, because we just ushered in democracy at that period, and he was the vice president. He tried in his own capacity. Forget the fact that what is it called? People are laying series of allegations. Is he convicted? Did they go to court to convict him? Those are mere allegations. Even Mr. President, the current president, there are series of allegations about him. Even Peter Obi, there are series of allegations. So allegations does not translate to somebody committing an offense. It's only when he has gone to court, he has been tried, and he has been convicted. That's when you can say that that person is a thief, is that. So Nigeria should narrow their statement down and let us see how we can unite together and have a strong opposition. Otherwise, we'll continue in this mess. From next year now, people will start paying tax, massive tax. If assuming this government retain power, they'll start paying massive tax. And I know their plan. The plan is that they just want election to come and go. After the election, they will implement the tax. And you and I and every other person, we pay through their nose.
So what you're saying now is Nigerians should know who to vote for. I mean,
no, my point is very simple.
Okay.
I want Peter Obi and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to come together, to unite and have one strong opposition. We cannot continue to play politics and then at the end of the day will not get results. Atiku have been contesting for years. Peter Obi just joined the race, and the two of them, they are strong, competent candidates. They are better than Mr. President. They are better than the current president, the two of them, because I can see from their policy and everything, their ideology and their drive. I would prefer them 100 times than Mr. President, who have failed woefully. If you ask me to rate him, I'll rate him 0 over 10. He has failed. A government that lacks respect for rule of law and constituted authority. A government that the people are suffering. Everything is going down on a daily basis. It's only their cohorts and cronies that are benefiting from the proceeds of the government. Is that what you call a government?
Okay, that's your personal opinion, anyway, not
yes,
the opinion of the
it's
session.
my opinion.
But it's fine, yes.
Yes.
So she was going to ask about Osun. I just let you go ahead and then...
The Osun State election just ended, and we saw what happened. The win the APC party. And what roles do you think this is going to play for the forthcoming 2027 election? How is it going to influence the forthcoming 2027 election? I mean, the vote apathy, the role of the opposition party. We saw what happened. We saw how many governors, were in Osun State to support their own. And we saw what played out that the Adeleke won. What role, how do you think it's going to influence the people for the forthcoming 2027 election?
Well, let me start by saying this, that we can see openly that that election was not free and fair. Some people will say it's free and fair.
The election was not free and fair?
Yes. If it were that APC won that election now, will you brand it as free and fair? Will you brand it as free and fair? If APC won that election, I'm not an APC person. But if it were that, with all the fraud and all the killings and all the manipulation and all the infractions that we saw on air, will you say that that election is free and fair? So because Accord won now, is now free and fair. If it were that APC won, I want to ask you this question. You have been the one in very brief. If it were that APC won that election now, will you say it's free and fair?
I mean, we saw everything that happened on TV.
No, if it were that...
No, you have asked us a question. Let me attempt to answer it.
Yes.
See, when you consider the fact that the incumbent left a party with a stronger structure, PDP, and went into Accord, which is a much smaller party, number one. Yes, he's an incumbent. And then, considering the fact that about 15 or 17 APC governors were on ground, considering that the amount of money that was brought into Osun was touted at around 100 and something billion to prosecute that war, considering the fact that the authorities, the whole security armed forces and all that were there, and considering the fact that, but for the fact that the Osun people monitored, led by Davido, you know, step by step. I was actively involved in monitoring this election, and then they went to the center, monitored it, made sure that every vote counted. You are saying that in spite of all that, it was not free and fair.
You are looking at it from one-way traffic. You are looking at it from one-way traffic.
We
saw all the incessant killing and all the fraud and everything.
Was it one-sided?
It's all one-sided. But does that translate? Does that translate?
Exactly. Who were the victims? Tell the public.
No, I don't know. I cannot ascertain.
Then you cannot make that
comment.
My
point is that if it were that APC won that election, will you brand that election as free and fair? That's the question I'm asking Nigerians. It's because the opposition, the ruling party in Osun State election now.
I just analyzed why.
Were they not vote buying?
They were.
But the vote buying that we saw,
they did everything.
Was it for Accord or APC? Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of APC.
The ruling party did everything.
Dr. Hyde,
so if it were that they won that election, will you brand it as free and fair with all the infractions, with all the illegalities, with all the abnormalities, with all the fraud?
All of this you mentioned
free and fair election
was done by, we know the parties, all of this was done by. I mean, you saw on the internet, even on social media, there's this particular woman that came out to contest. You know, she was APC. She was sharing things and all of that. And some person still came out to say that, oh, we collected things and we voted our conscience. It's obvious with everything we saw on the internet.
You see, with that.
I understand this question, and I'm going to answer you now.
Okay.
The election was not free and fair, but in spite of that, Accord still won. The opposition did not play free. They did not play fair. Regardless of that, the Osun people stood by and ensured that their votes counted. So I'm in agreement with you. It was not free. It was not fair. But the people protected their mandate and the results spoke.
Fine. That is it. And you have asked us to vote our party, and a lot of people came out in Osun State to vote, despite the threats and the fraud and everything. People came out to vote, but you see, it still boils down to what we are saying. If we don't have a strong opposition, people will not come out to vote. This happened because it's just a state. That's why people came out. But when you see clearly that the oppositions are not serious, they are going to divide the votes again. They are going to share the votes. Some people will vote alongside. More importantly, that the two of them don't even maintain any sitting governors all over the federation. At least at our last election, Atiku was under PDP thereabouts, and then there were about 10 to 12 governors then. But let me give the credit to Peter Obi. There was no sitting governor, and then he was able to record that vote. Am I correct?
Yeah.
There was no sitting governor, and then Peter Obi was able to record it. Therefore, presupposes that the chance is still there. But whether or not Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is going to step down for him is the issue right now. He knows, as a matter of fact, his supporters know, as a matter of fact, that Atiku will not step down for him. So, since they have decided not to step down for let them proceed.
Okay. So, here's an interesting thing. You see, most times when we talk about voters, we talk about states, we talk about or regions, we talk about religion and all that. There's an important demographics that we're not looking at. Age. Do you not see what happened in Oshun? While we're busy saying, oh, they think it's time of the South, it's the time of the North, or time of the North and all that. Do you not think the youth are beginning to say it is the time of the youth? Not necessarily the candidate, but that the youth will decide who they want for once. Don't you think that's going to count for as we move into this election? We have often neglected that fact and that demographics. Don't you think that it will be a strong force election going forward?
The youth are not serious. The youth are not serious. They are not ready
They are
to
not
yes.
Why would you say the youth are not serious?
Because
they are listening to you.
Because
Yeah,
I
they
say
are,
this.
they
I
actually
say this with all sign of respect, because of the fact that on election day now you see the same youth compromise the system.
It didn't happen in
It didn't-
Oshun.
Exactly. It didn't have
You see the same. We have seen it in the last election, at the presidential election. But on election day now, you see the youth playing politics along tribalism. How long are we going to trade under that system?
It stopped in Oshun. That's the point we're trying to make.
I feel at this point,
Oshun
Oshun people made a lot of Nigerians, a lot of youth to know that their votes count. Even some person might be thinking, if I go out.
Because of the
Or what
fact
just
that
happened?
the three of the contestants have the same extraction, they have the same tribe. When it gets to national election now, you see the reverse will play out. The politics is already.
No, every local, every politics.
I agree with you, but when it
you
gets
see
to
the Jesha people on the one hand, the Ede is a block on its own and all that. You support it. So you see, it happens. Every politics, all politics is local. So when it comes to this, that's where you know that yes, you may be speaking the same language, but my town is different. If it comes to your town, you know that family, people will come along family lines. So I think all politics is local.
I agree with you. That's the point I'm making. I think we're in consonance with the same of the fact that national politics, people will align with their own person. People will align.
So at this point now, what should Nigerians voters be looking at? The personality of the candidates or the strength of the coalition behind them?
Well, since they have decided not to come together, I don't know, like I said, they may still come together. Nigerians should look at their competence. Whether Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is more competent than Peter Obi, whether Peter Obi is more competent, we should drop tribalism. We should drop religion. It will not favor us. It will not help us. We have seen it over time. For example, now, if you go to Aso Rock now, the number one person belongs to a particular religion. The number two belongs to a particular religion. Has he helped anybody from that faith? No. The former president was of a particular faith, and then the vice president was of a faith, and then he is even a strong member of that faith, the vice president. Then, what happened? Did he now translate his office to benefit that faith? Religion will not take us anywhere. While nations are busy building technology, we are here building stadium in the name of faith and everything. Let me not delve into that, but let us not bring that to politics. Politics is independent. It's for the growth of our dear nation. It's for the benefits of every other person. When Mr. President wants to authorize any contract, he will not do it to benefit any particular tribe. He will not do it to benefit any particular religion. People would have voted him. They didn't vote because of a similar faith with him, because they voted him in his capacity as the president. So
what role do you think stomach infrastructure or poverty or the life will play or the economy will play in the decision of voters going into 2023?
Well, because the system have decided to make people hungry so that they can manipulate them with their rice festival towards the election period. I'm very optimistic by now. They may have gone to China to contract the contracts out to some people, but that, by the grace of God, they will be exposed. Because as it is now, the system is hungry. People are hungry. And that's what we saw played out in Osun State. They want to buy them with their rice and their gari and everything. I saw a branded gari there about with the granuts. They were sharing it.
Interesting. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Atta, for your time. Thank you for helping us talk about this topic. Doctor?
Yeah, it's been great talking about it. It's an ongoing conversation. We are watching the candidates very closely, and we hope that at the end of the day, they do what's right by Nigerians.
All right. Thank you once again for coming. Thank you all our esteemed viewers for joining our Lagos Network studio this beautiful CMI. I am Marcelin Nkwo. We'll be handing over to our Benin Network continuation on CMI. Do stay with us.
I love. ITV, certainly the best.
Good morning and welcome to ITV News Updates. I'm Chukufumnanya Digwe. Now, family members, friends, and well-wishers on Saturday gathered to celebrate the life and legacy of late Deaconess Ewa Rurubie, Roselyn Omoodion, who passed away at the age of 80. The ceremony held at the Isabella Royal Event Center in Benin City provided an opportunity for loved ones to honor her memory and celebrate the values she upheld during her lifetime. The report by Ivie Obe is presented by Thomas Sadu.
Isabella Royal Event Center, Benin City, came alive as family members and friends gathered to celebrate the life and legacies of late Deaconess Ewa Roselyn Omoodion. The event brought together relatives, friends, and well-wishers who came to pay tribute to the late matriarch, who eulogized her as a quintessential personality that would be greatly missed. In their remarks, her children extolled their mother as a God-fearing woman whose life impacted positively on those around her.
My mom was really a peaceful and a kind woman. She tried for us and she did a lot for us.
Everything in this world is about her. When it comes to peace, when it comes to loving, when it comes to loving God, she's a Jesus woman. She's everything good you can think of.
My mom was so lovely. It was so homely. I would say she's second to none. In fact, she accommodates everybody that came our way.
Other family members and relatives described the deceased as a kind-hearted woman whose legacies would forever be remembered.
Has been a mother. Every Sunday she calls on me. She has never missed it to find out how we are faring.
She's someone that could sacrifice even, let me say, herself for her children. She go to any length to make sure her children are comfortable.
She always tells me stories when I am sad.
Ever since I've known her, she has been so lovely and caring to me.
Mom, she's a very precious woman, a mother with a big heart.
Mama loves God. He holds everybody as one. He don't discriminate against anybody. If he sees you now, he will take you as our own daughter.
Late Deaconess Ewa Roselyn Omoodion is survived by children and grandchildren. Thomas Sado, ITV News.
In another update, Odionre of Igwosodin Nikbemaba in Ovia Northeast Local Government Area, Edo State, Pa Johnson Ahano has performed Iwe Nedion rites in line with customs and tradition. Ikponwosa Ogiagbe reports that the Odionre used the opportunity to announce Osaige Oriogeneye as the new Okaigele of Igwosodin Nikbemaba.
Elders of Igwosodin Nikbemaba, in solidarity with the Odionwe Pa Johnson Ahano, converged on the communities of Wedion, the Elders Chamber, as he performs in one Idion rites. Pa Ahano, who thanked Oba Ewa II for approving his installation as Odionwe, also thanked the elders and natives of the community for their support and cooperation. He announced the appointment of Osage Oreneye as Okaigele of the community and prayed for peace and progress of Igwosodin Nikbemaba.
Edo wa idio, do yugine, anyone, emike Maria uyabe, mame alauda, Osage Oreneye, Eyo Kari, Yadi Adia.
While some elders offered prayer for peaceful reign of Pa Johnson Ahano as Odionwe, the Okaigele Osage Oreneye assured to work with the elders to make Igwosodin a development destination.
Odionwe no rona, Odionwe Mahiano. Oh, man, chasing Zebe Natai, no be Mahiamo.
Odionwe mare Johnson Ahano. Iba little Sabra, no give my to Benny to send us up no idiot, a thing but no yato, no more woman, no money. Oh, one mamma fefe, because almost a badima.
As the Okaigele of Igwosodin Nikbemaba, I promise that this trust will not be betrayed, and I will do everything humanly possible to make sure that the past glory
of this community is restored. And I'll make sure there is peace, unity, and tranquility in this community.
Ikmomosa Ugiagbe, ITV News.
Away from that, the Center for Moral Value and Justice, in collaboration with Edo State Ministry of Public Safety and Security and the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, has held its Phase 2 Town Hall meeting on insecurity. The meeting themed Securing Our Community, a collective fight against cultism and kidnapping in Edo State, was convened by Comrade Sylvester Inebinehi and Prince Christian Okoje. Francisca Igenebale's report is presented by Efosa Wangwe.
The well-attended event, which drew a large turnout of youths and other notable personalities, featured awards of recognition and excellence to distinguished guests, including the Onoje of Ujogba. In a speech, Comrade Inegbehi said Edo State government prioritized the fight against insecurity through the deployment of security personnel and strategic interventions. He urged parents to closely monitor their children. Honorable Christopher Iyase, Special Advisor to the Governor on Youth Mobilization and Strategy, who was a resource person, said sustainable peace and development under Governor Monday Okpebholo requires youths to shun drugs and crime.
On giving them vocational skill that will encourage them to run away from criminalities.
Empowerment program because of the good work that the governor is doing.
Professor Efosa Osegale, who represented the Vice Chancellor of Abrus Ali University, Ekpoma, said insecurity has crippled socioeconomic activities and called for concerted efforts by parents, traditional and religious leaders, and government to restore peace. Ibrahim Aliu, Area Commander, Ekpoma, who represented Edo State Commissioner of Police, urged residents to report suspicious activities to security agencies.
Traditional rulers, protect your domain. Security agencies serve with courage. Security agencies must continue to earn the confidence of the public through professionalism, respect for human rights, fairness, and prompt response to legitimate complaints.
This government has proven that they have the will to actually end the insecurity. So those states have been relatively calm.
Dignitaries present include Honorable Edeko Maria, Chairman Edo State House of Assembly Committee on Security, Honorable Blessing Ebodari, Acting Chairman Eastern West Local Government Area and the Director Interagency and Operations, Minister of Public Safety and Security, who represented the Commissioner, Right Honorable Festus Ibea. Efosa Wangwe, ITV News.
Now, in line with the Kaduna State policy to reward excellence in the teaching profession, over 10,000 teachers across the 3 senatorial zones undergo promotional examination. Correspondent Umar Mohammed said the exercise was organized for new teachers, long-serving but unpromoted teachers, among others.
A classroom teacher is a professional who possesses the technical know-how on coaching his pupils or students to become better citizens. Considering their importance in the society, Kaduna State government made it a policy to test and reward its teachers with emphasis on routine examinations and interviews. The 2026 promotional examination for secondary school teachers is holding across the 3 senatorial zones in Kaduna State, where over 10,000 teachers are participating. During her visit to the examination centers, Chairman Kaduna State Secondary Schools Management Board, Dr. Sue Bashiru, said the exercise is to enhance diligence and quality service delivery in the teaching profession.
For any civil servant, any worker, especially the civil servant, promotion serves as a very good motivation for one to see that he is ascending, as in he is moving forward. So His Excellency gave the approval and the support, the funding for the promotion exercise to take place.
Some participants commended the Secondary Schools Management Board and the state government for organizing such exercises, describing it as an effort that will enrich the professional capability of secondary school teachers. The exercise, which is considered to be peaceful, is also the largest of its kind conducted in Kaduna State. From Kaduna, Umar Mohammed, ITV News.
And that's the size of our package on ITV News Updates. I'm Chukufum Nanya Digwe. Thank you for watching. Good morning.
ITV, certainly the best.
The land of Owa is inhabited.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The internet is talking and we're bringing the conversation to you. This is TMI Socials. I'm Chuku from Nanya Digwe, and here's what's making waves across the social media space. One major story is on the Benin-Abo bypass, which has become extremely difficult to navigate with deep mud, potholes, severe congestion, and motorists getting stranded for hours. Residents even protested on August 20, demanding that authorities fix the road rather than offer financial assistance. Now let's see a video of this August 20 protest.
No going, no coming there. I don't know shine register though. I don't know shine register at all. You can go try and call this, I can talk that it or trash and turn around. I'm under the last while. I really are close. I don't know shine register at all. No going, no coming. We'll spend like 4 hours for here now.
Now, more recently, a car was submerged in the flood. Let's see that video before we take the comments.
You don't sing for ground.
On top of the dashboard. On top of the dashboard. Check the other seat. I think, guy, yeah, where you? Go check this side. This guy on this side.
Alright, now wow. Just imagine what is going on here.
Follow this side, follow this side.
Imagine which way? Nigeria, which way? Nigeria, which way, Nigeria?
From the protest to the submerged vehicle, now let's see what netizens have to say. Our first commenter says, the president should look into this state. I don't think the state government is working at all. Social media is full of a lot about poor infrastructure in the state, despite the funds federal is pumping into each state. Hold your governors responsible. Let's see the next comment now. This commenter says, Umahi messed up the entire existing roads from Benin Asaba bypass and left it for more than 1 year. These roads were manageable before, so also is Onitsha to Owerri Road, except the Imo State axis fixed by Hope Uzodimma. Let's take the final comment on this particular story. Oloye David says, when Umahi first assumed office, he was traveling around states as though he has something reasonable to do. Look at him today. Very sad. Well, those are the comments on that particular story on the Benin Abo bypass. Now, this next video shows young men reportedly dismantling and destroying public infrastructure to extract metal rods, which they can sell as scrap, or as you call it, iron condemn. The footage has triggered a wider conversation about vandalism, the scrap metal trade, poverty, and the damage being done to public infrastructure. Let's see this video. Now, before we take the comments on that story, just as a caveat here, some people are saying that the road is already under construction, so they are just salvaging what they can. But the general knowledge is the destruction of public infrastructure. Let's see what people are saying. John Abraham says, the people are hungry and the government is busy building roads, drainage, and taking up elephant projects, while the people are languishing in abject poverty. Again, I don't support the destruction of property, but the root cause of this problem should be paid attention to. Let's move on to the next and final comment. This commenter says, this isn't just poverty. This is a systematic problem. Role of education cannot be overemphasized. Well, those are the comments we can take. Let's move over to the next story. Now, this one is on a sad note for the Nigerian entertainment industry. Veteran Nollywood actor Taiwo Hassan, or as you call him, Ogogo, has reportedly passed away on August 23 at the age of 66 after a battle with cancer. The news was announced by his daughter during a TikTok live, prompting an outpouring of grief and tributes across social media. Let's see the video.
My family, nobody called. My daddy is dead, sir. I don't believe them. I can't say that 5 minutes ago. I want to go home. Please, let me go home, sir. I can't. Mommy. Please. Please. I just told your neighbor to don't come and we are sitting. Sir.
What's her relation to you?
No, please can you tell she's my daughter. Tell her that they should buy my ticket so that I can go home. I want to go and see my daddy before he gets buried. Please.
Can you sit down?
No, I don't want to sit down, please. I don't want to sit pregnant. She's pregnant. I don't want to sit.
A very sad one, you'd agree with me. Now, a lot of people have taken to social media to sympathize with the family of the veteran icon. A lot of RIPs have been pouring in from social media concerning this story, and as a development, he will be buried today. May his soul rest in peace. Now, our next story has generated quite a buzz online following comments made by an aide in Edo State, an aide to the Edo State governor, of course, about the Nigerian music star Davido, following his comments about the governor during the Osun polls. Now, the aide has since retracted these remarks, and he has even apologized. That's the video you can see on your screen right now. Let's get to hear from him.
Morning, good afternoon, good evening, depend the time you are watching this video. I want to quickly respond to a video that is going viral where I responded to Davido when he insulted the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, and his children. Now, I want to say that I didn't do that video as an appointee of the government, and I didn't do that video by the instruction of the governor of Edo State or by the permission of the governor of Edo State. I did that video in my personal capacity as a son of the governor who was offended by Davido's statement that the governor's children should be ashamed of their father. Having said that, I want to apologize to His Excellency Senator Monday Okpebholo for whatever embarrassment my comment may have caused him. Our governor is a peace-loving governor who does not tolerate violence or threat or oppressor. I want to say I apologize to the executive governor of Edo State, Senator Monday. So whatsoever my statement must have cost him during these days. I also want to apologize to Edo people. My comment were my personal option and did not reflect the option of all Edo-light in anywhere. Edo people are loving people and they are accommodating people. I want to apologize to every sons and daughter of Edo who have seen my video disrespectful and not accepted. I want to say I'm really sorry. I apologize to every good meaning Edo-light. And to my brother Davido, I love you. Please disregard my earlier comment. Edo love you, and of course you are welcome home anytime, any day in Edo State. Feel free to come to Edo State, and I want to say from the depth of my heart, I sincerely apologize for what I have said these few days that is trending. Our governor is a lovely, peace-keeping governor. He does not tolerate violence or any form of disrespect. Edo is shining. The governor is doing everything within his power to make sure that Edo work again with all the good road infrastructure, good education, security, and bring it back nightlife to Edo. Edo is a safe place for investors to come in and invest, and we, the good people of Edo, welcome everyone. Please.
Well, that's the apology after some very strong remarks that he made. Whether it's sincere or damage control is yet to be seen. But let's take this one comment from the social media space. This commenter says, the denial about being on instruction is standard procedure. When things get loud, it feels more like damage control than an actual apology for the threat against Davido. Well, that's the comment on that story, and here's where we draw the curtain on TMI socials and also this morning on ITV, TMI, where we took an in-depth analysis on all the stories that are shaping our nation, our politics, and our daily lives. I'm Chuku from Nanya Digwe, and from all the crew, thank you so much for joining. Have a great morning.
Any longer.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.